Hello students and welcome to another video. I'm your teacher Mr. Flynn, and today we're going to be solving a picket fence problem. Okay, picket fence problems, or sorry, a picket fence I should say, is a method in order to convert or change your units. So the picket fence's purpose is to change units. Okay, we're not so much worried about the values, like the numbers that are associated with them, but we're more concerned about the unit itself, like hours, minutes, seconds, miles, feet, etc. Okay, and in this problem, we're going to try to solve how fast is the world spinning in yards per second if the Earth is spinning at 1,000 miles per hour. So to first set this up, I'm going to push down a little bit here. We have 1,000 miles per hour. Okay, because we're relating two different things here. We have distance over time. And our problem at the end is also distance over time, right? Because we can't just turn miles into time. We have to keep it as a distance. And we have to keep hours in time units. So a couple of these units, or proportions here, will be used to turn our hours into seconds and our miles into yards. So when we work with this, we have to set up our picket fence so that we can change and convert our units. And in this problem, we have an option. We can start with miles and we can start with hours. So I'm going to start with miles because that's what's on top. So I put my picket here and I write out my next line. And I want to take a true statement, all right, that can convert miles into feet. So if 1 mile is equal to 5,280 feet, you can almost imagine that this sign is equal to. And I can write this either way. 5,280 feet is equal to 1 mile. I can write it either way. I can put this on top, that on bottom. All right. And in this problem, I need to put miles on the bottom because I need to have feet on top, and I'll show why. Because now my miles cancel, and now my new unit is feet. All right? But are we looking for feet in our problem? No, we're wanting to go to yards. So our next unit I could use is 3 feet is equal to 1 yard. I can draw another picket in my fence, and I can convert my feet into yards. So 1 yard is equal to 3 feet. And my feet cancel. And now I'm at the proper units. I've got yards on top. Let's work on the next section here. Now that we've converted our miles into yards, let's convert our hours into seconds. So I got 1 hour is equal to 60 minutes. My hours cancel. I'm now left with 60 minutes. And then I can convert minutes into seconds right here. So 1 minute is equal to 60 seconds. And now we have the proper units set up here. So I've got yards per second, yards per second. And now I need to punch all of this into my calculator. Okay. And how I like to do it is, actually I'll write it up above here. So you can imagine that this is A, B, C, D, E, and then down here we have F, G, H, etc. So I want you to type this in your calculator. I want you to multiply the top and put it into parentheses, like lock it in. And then you're going to divide by the bottom. And you'll have that in parentheses. Okay? So when I type it in my calculator, I will do 1,000 times 5,280. And I like to hit enter and it locks it all in together. And then when I hit divide, I'll put in parentheses 3 times 60 times 60. And I close that parenthesis. And that gives me 488, I'll say 0.9 yards per second. Okay? Well, looks like Lisa made it into my video. Okay. All right. So I got 488.9 yards per second. Now, if we imagine like something that we can see in the real world, we can think of like football fields. All right. We could take this even a step further because this can be kind of hard to read. Let's turn into something a little step further. Let me think about this. So if we want to go one step further, we can turn these yards into football fields. So 1 football field is equal to how many yards? About 100 yards, right? I can convert it. Now I'm in football fields. Oh, wait. Yeah, that's right. Now all I got to do now to make this is divide by 100. Divide by 100. And that's about 4.89 football fields. Okay. So we solved the problem, but I'm just taking it a step further, and I'm trying to show you that you can go, the Earth is spinning about 5 football fields every second. And I think that's an easier thing for us to conceptualize, because 488 yards, I don't know if many of us can grab like how far that is, but we all know what a football field looks like. So that's about how fast the Earth is spinning. So when we do proportions, a lot of the times we change the units, so it's a little bit easier for us to grab the numbers. So for example, we have 1,000 miles per hour, right? That's hard to conceptualize how fast that is. Like we drive on the road, we go 40, 50, up to 70, 80 miles an hour, right? So we times that by 10, but how does that feel? What does that look like? That's kind of hard to conceptualize. Most of us have probably flown on planes, and they travel around 500 miles per hour. But you're so high up, it's hard to kind of feel how fast that is. But if you were to look at a football field and think, oh, 5 of these, and that's how fast we're traveling, how fast the Earth is spinning, it's a little bit easier to grab. All right, so I'm going to go one step further. But anyhow, this problem is about using the picket fence and converting and changing our units. We took miles per hour and then turned our miles into yards and our hours into seconds. And then we took our yards and turned into football fields, all right, because that could be also a unit for how far it is, all right. Football fields, and I would say per second. I forgot to add that there. All right, so for every second, you can travel about 5 football fields, okay? Thanks again for watching. If you have any questions, please come talk to me.